Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're cracking open the rulebook for investment taxes. You know, getting this stuff right can save you a ton of money, but getting it wrong, yeah, that can be a seriously expensive mistake. So let's make sure you're on the right side of that equation. So, if you've sold anything this year, stocks, crypto, whatever it is, then congratulations. You are officially in the game. And this game has some very specific rules that directly impact your wallet. It really doesn't matter if you're a pro trader or just dipping your toes in, knowing this playbook is absolutely key to protecting your profits. Okay, let's jump right into our first rule, and honestly, it's the big one. It is all about the clock. When it comes to capital gains, timing isn't just a factor, it's pretty much everything. So the official term for this is the holding period, and how it's calculated is super precise. You start counting the day after you buy something, and you stop on the exact day you sell it. That simple count is what decides if your gain or loss gets taxed as short-term or long-term. And here is where it gets critical, folks. A single day can make a huge difference. If you hold an asset for 1 year or less, that profit is a short-term gain. It gets taxed at your regular, higher income rate. But if you hold it for just 1 day more than a year, boom, it becomes a long-term gain. And that qualifies for much, much lower tax rates. Let's look at Lisa's situation here. She held her stock for exactly 1 year, right? But remember the rule, it has to be more than 1 year. Because she sold on the anniversary date, her gain is short-term. If she had just waited one more day to sell, her tax bill on that profit would have dropped big time. But hey, gains aren't the whole story, are they? What happens when an investment goes south? Well, the tax code has rules for losses too. And believe it or not, they can actually work in your favor. This is what's called a net capital loss. It's actually really simple. You add up all your capital gains for the year, you subtract all your capital losses, and if you end up with a negative number, you can use that loss to lower your other taxable income. Pretty cool, right? Now, here's the number you need to burn into your brain. $3,000. That is the absolute maximum net capital loss you can use to offset your other income, like your salary, in any single year. It is a hard limit. So let's see how this works in real life. Imagine Lucas has a $7,000 net loss for the year. He uses the max, $3,000, to lower his taxable income for this year. So what happens to the other $4,000? It's not lost. It gets carried forward to help cut his taxes in future years. And a few more quick details on this, that loss you carry over, you can use it indefinitely, for the rest of your life. It also keeps its character, so a long-term loss will offset future long-term gains first. Oh, and a big heads up for anyone who's married but files separately, your annual limit gets chopped in half, down to just $1,500. All right, finally, let's talk about a really common trap for investors. It's a penalty that can completely wipe out your ability to claim a loss, and it's called the wash sale rule. Basically, the government created this rule to stop people from gaming the system. Selling a stock just to claim a tax loss and then immediately buying it right back because they still believe in it. That little move is a wash sale, and if you do it, poof, that tax benefit just vanishes. The rule applies within a really specific time frame. Think of it as a 61-day window. It covers the 30 days before you sell, the day of the sale itself, and the 30 days after you sell. If you buy back a substantially identical security anywhere inside that window, you've triggered the penalty. So, what happens if you break the rule? Well, the immediate consequence is simple and painful. The loss you were hoping to claim on your taxes for that year, it's disallowed. You just can't deduct it. End of story. But wait, that loss isn't totally gone. Instead, it gets added to the cost basis of the new shares you just bought. This basically just postpones the tax benefit. You'll get to use that loss eventually, but only when you finally sell the new shares for good. And of course, stay clear of another wash sale. Let's look at Malcolm here. He sells for a $3,200 loss, but then buys the stock back just 30 days later. Uh-oh, the wash sale rule is triggered. He can't deduct that loss now. Instead, that $3,200 gets added to the cost of his new shares. This will either lower his taxable gain or increase his deductible loss way down the road when he finally sells for good. All right, that was a lot, I know. So let's lock in the key takeaways. This is your quick and dirty summary of the 3 essential rules for managing your investments.
These are the 3 rules to tattoo on your brain. First, master the clock. Hold for more than a year to get those sweet lower tax rates. Second, know your limit. You can only deduct a max of $3,000 in net losses against your regular income each year. And third, avoid the penalty. Just wait at least 31 days before you buy back a stock you sold at a loss. Simple.
See, these rules aren't just about taxes. They're about building a smarter investment strategy. Knowing when to sell, how to handle a loss, and when to get back into a stock can be just as important as knowing what to buy in the first place. So now that you know the rules of the game, what's your next move going to be?